Captain Arin stepped off the small shuttle onto the red, rocky surface of the alien planet, his boots crunching against the sharp stones. The sky was dark, painted with strange green clouds that twisted and swirled above. He could feel the heat radiating from the ground. But it was not the heat that made him uneasy, it was the silence. The planet was alive, but it did not welcome him. Arin adjusted his helmet and took a slow breath, checking his scanners. Everything was strange here. The air shimmered with a faint glow, and every breath felt heavy and sharp. His sensors picked up movement in the distance. But there were no sounds, only shapes, shadows moving just beyond his sight. He walked carefully, stepping over cracked stones and strange, black plants that seemed to pulse like they had a heartbeat. Arin remembered the mission briefing. Study the planet, collect samples, and return with knowledge. Nothing about survival had been guaranteed. Then he saw it, a shallow pool of liquid that glowed like molten gold, steam rising from its surface. Arin knew from the scans that this substance was deadly. Even the tiniest drop could kill a creature, any creature. He frowned, curiosity rising. He had trained for dangers. But this was different. From the edge of the pool, a small alien creature approached. Its skin was translucent, and its eyes burned like fire. Arin watched in horror as it touched the glowing liquid. The creature screamed, a sound like metal tearing, and collapsed instantly. There was no chance to help. It was gone in seconds. Its life ended as if it had never existed. Arin's heart raced. He wanted to retreat, to run back to the shuttle. But something inside him refused. Humans were explorers. Humans faced danger. He had to know why this poison killed everything. What made it so lethal? He took out a small scanner and leaned closer, his gloves hovering above the liquid. Just a tiny touch, he told himself. Just a touch. And then, it happened. A drop fell on his glove, sizzling like fire. Arin jerked back, expecting pain, expecting death. But nothing happened. He stared in disbelief, his heart pounding. He moved his other hand closer. The same result, safe, untouched by the deadly poison. Arin swallowed hard, his mind racing. Humans. Humans were different. He had read about alien poisons, about Deathworlds. But never had he imagined anything like this. Every known species could die here, yet a human survived. He looked around the glowing pool, thinking, maybe humans were stronger than anyone had guessed. Suddenly, a shadow fell across him, a massive shape moving fast. It was one of the native predators, its teeth sharp and dripping with venom. Arin froze for a moment, then ran, sprinting across the rocky plains, dodging spikes and falling stones. The creature chased, relentless, its growls shaking the ground. Arin reached a narrow canyon and ducked behind a rock, breathing heavily. The predator circled, then finally left. Arin exhaled, his heart still racing. He realized something important. Survival here was possible, but only because he was human, only because his body could endure what nothing else could. As he looked back at the glowing pool, he knew this was only the beginning. The planet held secrets, deadly and ancient, and humans, fragile but strong, were about to discover them. Captain Arin returned to his small shuttle, carrying a sample of the glowing liquid. His hands were steady, but his mind raced. He had survived something that killed every other species. He had survived where no one else could, and the thought both excited and terrified him. Inside the shuttle, he carefully placed the sample into a secure container. His scanner beeped softly as he analyzed the substance. Every reading was deadly. Its molecular structure designed to break down life. Its chemical chains attacked organs, nervous systems, even the smallest cell. Yet, humans were untouched. Arin rubbed his temples, trying to understand. How could one species survive what destroyed all others? His mind turned to biology, evolution, maybe even chance. Humans had always adapted, always survived against odds. But this was something else entirely, something no one had prepared for. He pulled up old alien records stored in his ship's database, scanning for clues. The ancient messages were fragmented, warning messages from explorers long gone. They spoke of a planet that was a trial, a world where only the strong endured. Every life form that entered faced extinction, except one species, humans. His heart beat faster. Humans were not just lucky, they were meant to survive. Arin leaned back in his chair, staring at the glowing green sky outside. His mind was a storm of questions. Could this be a test, an experiment, or a natural evolution he did not understand? Why did the universe let humans endure, while every other species failed? His curiosity burned stronger than fear. He needed answers. Suddenly, the shuttle sensors blinked, highlighting movement outside. He froze, watching carefully. Shadows shifted near the shuttle, strange shapes moving with precision. Arin gripped his weapon. But the shapes did not attack. They seemed to observe, silent and calculating. His pulse quickened. The planet was alive, and it was watching him. He activated his small recording drone and sent it out to inspect the area. The drone's camera captured an astonishing sight. alien structures half buried in the red soil, glowing faintly, ancient ruins, filled with symbols and carvings that no human had seen. His eyes widened. Could these ruins explain the poison, or the survival of humans? Arin took careful notes, documenting everything. He knew the importance of this discovery. Humans were not just explorers here, they were a unique force in this universe. The very air, the ground, even the alien creatures seemed to test him, but he endured. Hours passed, and Arin studied the sample in more detail. He tested it on synthetic cells in his lab, watching closely as alien cells disintegrated instantly. Then he applied a small trace to a simulated human cell. Nothing happened. The cell was completely unharmed. His theory was confirmed. Humans were resistant, maybe even immune. Arin felt a mix of pride and caution. He was not invincible, but humans had an edge that no one else did. He realized this planet, this deadly world, was not a place to fear completely. It was a place to learn, to grow, to prove what humans could endure. As night fell, the red sky turning darker with streaks of green lightning, Arin prepared to rest, but sleep was uneasy, filled with visions of the alien poison, the shadows outside, and the mysteries hidden in the ruins. One thought echoed in his mind louder than all others. Humans were different, humans could survive, and the universe would soon see why. Captain Arin stepped out of his shuttle again, this time fully prepared. The sun had barely risen over the red horizon, casting long shadows across the rocky landscape. The air shimmered with danger, and the faint smell of the alien poison hung like a warning. He activated his portable shield and moved carefully, every step measured. The planet seemed alive, the wind whispering in strange patterns. Strange sounds echoed from the distance, low growls and screeches that made his skin crawl. Yet he did not stop. Humans survived because they adapted, and Arin would prove it. Suddenly, a creature burst from behind a jagged rock. Its skin was thick and armored, its claws long and razor-sharp. Arin barely dodged, rolling to the side. The creature lunged again, but he used his stun gun, firing a concentrated blast. The creature screeched, staggering backward, not dead, but slowed. Arin ran toward a narrow canyon, knowing the terrain could give him an advantage. He used rocks and sharp ledges to block the creature, jumping over gaps and sliding down slopes. His heart pounded, but fear sharpened his senses. Every human instinct came alive, every decision precise. As he moved, he noticed a faint glow ahead, small crystals embedded in the rocks. He remembered the ruins he had seen earlier. Could these crystals be linked to the poison, or the strange immunity of humans? He reached out to touch one, and a small pulse of energy ran through his hand, but did not harm him. A shiver ran down his spine. The planet was testing him. From the shadows, another creature appeared, larger and faster than the first. Arin realized he could not fight them all head-on. He needed strategy, not strength. Using quick thinking, he lured the first creature toward the second. Both crashed into each other with violent force, giving Arin a moment to escape. He ran deeper into the canyon, noticing narrow passages that the creatures could not follow. Humans were smaller, more agile, and smarter in these situations. He smiled grimly. His survival not just luck, but design. He was made to endure what others could not. Suddenly, he heard a mechanical hum, and a small hovering drone appeared, projecting a holographic map. It was his AI companion, a guide program to help him navigate dangerous terrain. The drone's light cut through the dark canyon, showing paths that were safe and paths that led to death. Arin followed the guide, trusting his human instincts and the AI together. Hours passed as he moved through the treacherous terrain, avoiding poison clouds, predators, and collapsing rock formations. He discovered strange plants that emitted the deadly toxin in small pulses. He carefully marked each one, knowing that understanding the poison could be the key to survival. By evening, Arin reached the edge of a cliff, overlooking a valley filled with glowing pools of poison. His eyes widened. The planet's heart lay below, a deadly ocean that could end life in seconds. He knew he had to cross it, but humans had something the planet had not accounted for: intelligence and courage. He took a deep breath, and prepared to descend. Each step calculated, every movement mattered, every second could be his last. Yet he smiled, a small spark of confidence in his eyes. Humans survived where all others failed, and he was about to prove it again. Captain Arin finally reached the edge of the glowing valley, his boots crunching on the sharp rocks. Below him, the poisonous pools shimmered like molten gold, each one deadly to every known species. He took a deep breath, his heart still racing from the chase. As he moved closer to the valley, he noticed strange structures half buried in the red soil, ancient buildings covered in alien symbols and carvings. Their shapes were angular and sharp, but elegant, showing a civilization that had long vanished. Arin's curiosity burned brighter than fear. He stepped carefully inside one of the ruins, the walls humming with an energy he could not explain. Holographic lights flickered to life as he approached, showing images of alien creatures, their experiments, and strange tests. He realized that the planet had not only been alive, it had been designed as a trial, a challenge for any species that arrived. Arin scanned the holograms, piecing together the story. The alien record spoke of a world where only the strong could survive, where poisons, predators, and traps eliminated all life forms, except one, humans. Humans were not random visitors. They were part of a larger plan, their biology uniquely suited to endure what others could not. His mind raced, understanding the truth. Humans had been tested before, perhaps across the stars, and their endurance had been proven time and again. He felt a mix of pride and awe, the HFY truth shining in his heart. Humans were fragile, yet unbreakable, small in size, yet mighty in resilience. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the ruins. Arin's scanners went wild, showing energy spikes across the valley. The poison pools were reacting, moving, almost like the planet itself was alive and aware of his presence. Shadows shifted in the corners, strange creatures watching silently, testing him again. Arin knew he had to act fast. He needed to collect data, understand the poison, and survive. Using his knowledge and tools, he carefully extracted samples from the walls and the pools, avoiding the deadly waves of energy, every step measured, every move precise. As he worked, he discovered a strange device embedded in the center of the ruins, its surface pulsating with energy. It seemed to control the poison across the planet. Perhaps it was the source of the trials, the machine that tested all species. Arin studied it, realizing that humans might be the only species capable of understanding and controlling it. Hours passed, and he worked tirelessly, documenting every detail. His mind pieced together the ancient logic. The poison was not random. The predators were not random. Everything was a test, a carefully designed system to measure strength, adaptability, and intelligence. Humans had survived, and that survival was not by chance, it was by design. As night fell over the valley, Arin stepped out of the ruins, carrying his samples and data. He looked back at the glowing pools and the ancient structures. His chest swelled with pride. Humans were unique. Humans were survivors. Humans were special. He realized that the challenge was far from over. The planet still held dangers, guardians, and secrets. Yet he felt stronger, ready for whatever came next. The HFY truth was clear in his mind. Humans endured where all others failed, and the universe would soon understand. Captain Arin stood at the edge of the glowing valley, the alien ruins behind him, and the poisonous pools stretching out before him. He could feel the energy pulsing through the planet, stronger than ever. It was as if the world itself had noticed his presence and prepared its final test. From the shadows, a massive guardian emerged, its body armored in black chitin, its eyes glowing with deadly intent. The ground shook as it approached, sending waves of energy through the poison pools. Arin tightened his grip on his weapon. His heart raced, but fear was replaced with focus. Humans survived where all others failed, and he would prove it again. He dodged the first strike, rolling behind a jagged rock. The guardian's claws smashed the ground where he had stood, sending sparks flying. Arin knew he could not fight this creature alone. He needed strategy, speed, and intelligence, his human traits, not brute strength. Using the holographic map from his AI companion, he lured the guardian toward a narrow canyon. The creature's massive body could not fit through, giving Arin an advantage. He threw a small energy bomb to distract it, and it lunged, crashing into the canyon walls, giving him time to move forward. He reached the strange device at the center of the ruins, the source of the poison and the planet's defenses. His hands worked quickly, scanning the controls and adjusting settings. The device responded to human touch, pulsing with energy, but not harming him. His mind raced, remembering everything he had learned about human endurance and intelligence. Humans were meant to survive this. The Guardian recovered, roaring in fury. It rushed toward him again. Arin held his ground, using quick thinking to trigger traps from the ruins. Rocks fell, energy pulses redirected, and the Guardian was slowed, each move precise, calculated, showing the planet that humans were clever, adaptable, and unstoppable. Finally, with one last maneuver, Arin activated the device fully. The poison pools recoiling, energy surging around him. The Guardian shrieked, paralyzed by the planet's own defense system. It retreated into the shadows, defeated, and the valley grew quiet once more. Arin fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. His body was trembling, but his mind was clear. Humans had endured the ultimate test. The planet had tried to destroy every life form, but humans had survived, not because of luck, but because they were designed to endure. He looked at the sky, the green clouds swirling above, and sent a message to Earth, recording every detail of the planet, the poison, and the ancient ruins. "We are stronger than anyone imagined," he said, his voice steady. "Humans survive where all others fail, and now the universe knows." As he prepared to leave the valley, he knew this was only the beginning. There would be more worlds, more tests, more dangers. But humans were ready. Endurance, intelligence, courage, and adaptability made them special, and no challenge could break them. The HFY truth was clear, shining brighter than any star. Humans were not fragile, not weak, not ordinary. They were extraordinary, capable of surviving where every other species perished. And as Captain Arin looked back at the glowing valley, he knew that one human had endured the impossible, and humanity's story was only just beginning.